Hey ladies and gentlemen, Will here, and welcome to my first Sonic fan game review. I gotta admit, I love watching these games played by reviewers, and I'm a huge fan of the Sonic fan hacking contest every year. And now that I finally built a computer to play them on, I couldn't wait to give them all a shot. My goal with these reviews isn't to bring down any creations. I'm aware and appreciate how much time, passion, and work goes into each and every one. I'm simply here to give them a spin, no pun intended, and let you know my honest thoughts, from what I think is effective to what I think doesn't work or could be improved. Anyhow, without further ado, the first game I'm taking a look at is an older title, I'm aware, but it's one that I've heard nothing but positive things about. Today, we look at 2012's Sonic the Hedgehog Before the Sequel by Lake Feppard. The second I started up this game, it immediately felt like I was playing a classic Sonic game again on the Sega Genesis. Except now with a keyboard instead of a Genesis controller, but it works just fine. The game also features cutscenes, though unfortunately the game would crash on me if I enabled them, so I had to play the game with them omitted from my experience. That being said, they're easily found online, so if you have the same problem I had, there are workarounds. Sonic Before the Sequel takes place between the events of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It tells the story of how Sonic and Tails meet for the first time, while Eggman hurries to complete the nearly finished Death Egg, which is inevitably completed by the end of Sonic 2. And that's about it. To be honest, I really like the simplicity behind the storyline, yet the depth it's able to create with the characters. Sonic's adventurous and impatient qualities are shown off when he rescues Tails, but right away hurries off to continue his pursuit against Eggman. Tails is inspired by Sonic and grows as a character by trying to become more independent like his hero. And Eggman is trying to build yet another Death Star because we just don't have enough of those in the galaxy already. The cutscenes themselves are marvelously animated and add a ton of personality to the characters that really bring them to life in a way the Genesis games were never able to do. As the story implies, after encountering Tails, throughout the game you are switching back and forth between the Hyper Blue Hedgehog and the Two-Tailed Fox, making for two very unique experiences of play. Playing as Sonic is everything you'd expect it to be. High-speed action with some tricky platforming integrated very well into the mix. Tails also plays exactly how you'd imagine him to, especially if you've played the Genesis titles, but his level design is a little more expansive and explorative than Sonic's. At times I found myself flying as high as I could to see what other pathways the level had to offer. I was reminded of Freedom Planet a lot while playing through Tails' levels. The openness really encourages you to take different routes, and though you wouldn't necessarily be rewarded with goodies from one path or the other, I found that some paths were significantly easier or less enemy-ridden than others. That brings me to my next point, the level design. Each level definitely feels inspired by other stages in the Sonic series, but at the same time, each level is very much its own thing and stands up as an original creation to the point where it almost feels like it's paying homage to what made the classic games so great, rather than just trying to match them together. And if there's one thing I can praise the overall design for, it's the sense of speed that it lets you capture, especially as Sonic. There's a magnificent balance between cool running sequences and platforming sections, and at the end of the day, that's everything I could ask for from a Sonic game. The artwork for each level, much like the game's cutscenes, are nothing short of brilliant. I've always been a sucker for levels that show off something that informs you of the game's events behind the scenes. Throughout the game, you see the Death Egg slowly being constructed or taking off in the background. As the game progresses, you slowly start to see Eggman's technological influence on the world begin to take over and shroud the foresty lands with robotization. It makes the world feel so much more real and interconnected, and I'm a fan. I still have three main gripes around the level design that I need to make note of, however. The first, the backgrounds. Yes, they're stunning, beautiful, and very alive. They can also be distracting and misleading. I can't tell you how many times I thought I would be able to land on a platform only to realize it was a part of the background and not the actual level. Vice versa, times when I thought something was a part of the background actually turned out to be a platform in the level, which can very easily throw you off course. My second gripe regards level gimmicks. Sometimes these work great. I even love how level assets from the original Sonic titles have been repurposed in this game, like the infinite bubble shield in Fortress Flow Zone, which adds a unique depth to challenge. Others can get a little awkward at times, and others downright frustrating. This platform in one of Tails' levels is activated by hovering slightly above or around the plane where the Tails hologram is projected. Once you figure out how to make use of it, what bothers me is that I don't really know why it's activating. Like, are we propelling air into a system that churns a bunch of random gears which shifts the platform? I mean, it's not that I'm looking for an in-depth explanation as to why these function. I just feel like there's a bit of a disconnect between what we're doing as the player and why the game is allowing us to progress. The third gripe regards checkpoints, or the lack thereof. Checkpoints are spaced so far in between one another, there are some stages where I made it nearly to the end, die, only to find out that I had to restart from the very beginning of the level. By the time you reach the thing that killed you again, you've forgotten what you did wrong the last time, so the game doesn't really give you the opportunity to learn from your mistakes. On the other hand, I get that some people may like this sort of challenge. This is just me, but I think adding more checkpoints throughout each level would have vastly improved my already great experience with the game. It's really just a point of finesse, I would say, but a vital point. The bosses in this game are spectacular. Every fight with Eggman is a blast, and borrows the Sonic Advance 2 boss design utilizing high-speed action mechanics to take him and his larger-than-life robots down. I'm honestly torn between these 3 bosses for my favorite contender, but you know what? That's a problem I love to have in a video game. It only makes revisiting them even more fun the next time I play. Tails' bosses have you fighting this recurring bot that just likes to bother Tails in its spare time, I guess. These bosses are fought more like a boss from the classic Sonic games, as they tend to stay on one screen and you're looking for the weak point to attack for massive damage. What I like the most about these bosses is that they really allow you to make use of Tails' flight mechanic, making them a very unique experience to Sonic's boss battles. It's a small nitpick, but some of the bosses, even my favorite ones, felt oddly repetitive at times. I think it's because hitting the bosses themselves can take some time, or you're waiting for a good opportunity to strike in between one of their attack patterns. It's a bit of a shift from the original Sonic games, where the wait time to be able to strike Eggman was often a lot shorter between hits. That's not the case here in this game, and to be honest, you could probably also chalk that up to being a good thing rather than bad. On a point like this, it's really a matter of preference. Just like the level design, the music certainly takes after some familiar tunes from the Sonic franchise, not only from the classic Sonic titles, but I heard traces from Sonic Rush, and I'm pretty sure the Sonic OVA movie in Titanic Tower, which was totally cool. I love how grand the fanfare is when you get an extra life. I mean, listen to this. They want you to feel proud as hell when you get that 1-up. And my god, Flying High for Cloudy Crowd 1 may very well be my favorite piece of Sonic music of all time. There was the odd circumstance when I felt like some of the music in some acts were too chilled out, as in they were still great to listen to, but not all spoke well to the high-speed action of Sonic's levels, and weren't necessarily getting me pumped as I carried on throughout the stage. That being said, these tracks have made their way onto a playlist on my iPod, so huge thumbs up to the composers on their work. Overall, Sonic Before the sequel made for a great time, and if you're a Sonic fan and have access to the game, I highly recommend playing it. Heck, even if you're not a Sonic fan, this is just a really fun high-speed platformer, and I'm sure you get enjoyment out of it. It can be buggy at times, like for some reason Tails just refused to swallow an air bubble to save his life. I mean, what is he, ignorant? But there's no denying the fact that this truly feels like a classic 2D Sonic game renewed for the modern era. Lake Pepper did nothing short of creating an exceptional fan game, and for the first one I've given a shot, it's gotten me really excited to play more on my ever-growing list. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, and feel free to keep posted on my channel for more reviews and thoughts on Sonic fan games and beyond. And hey, if you have any suggestions for titles you think I should try out, feel free to shoot me a message here or on Twitter. Till the next one, catch you on the flip side.